or facing your friends, but you still hygienic, you use deodorants, or you use perfume chemicals. Yeah. Early in the morning, just now you eat, for example, M&Ms, chocolate. So the colors, that one is also a chemicals, but it's a food additive chemicals. Yeah. It's not harm to you, but it's still a combination of chemicals. So every day we are dealing with lots of chemicals. Some of the chemicals are good to us, and some of chemicals, if you are using it terlalu banyak ataupun in high concentrations, it will affect your health. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Then untuk occupational disease, yeah, we have the definitions. The definitions of occupational disease is any disease contracted as a result of exposure to factors from work activities. So dia punya definition dia straight to the point lah, direct. Whatever contact or exposure that you get in your workplace, and that it creates disease, then we call it as occupational disease. But it is very difficult to diagnose some of the disease as occupational disease, because there is a lots of factors that plays to influence the disease. Contohnya cancer, for example, cancer. If you say that cancer is from the work, because cancer is also, we have lots of other factors. For example, our lifestyle, kita exercise ke tidak ke, our food intakes is also influence the cancer. So it's very difficult to say or to relate the cancer to the occupational setting. But if it's but this will be diagnosed by occupational health doctor. So bukan semua, not all doctors can diagnose occupational disease, because there is only kepakaran or expertise, certain expertise that allows the doctor to diagnose that this is mainly from occupational. And then the main occupational disease related to our work setting ialah when you expose to chemicals. Yeah, right. Okay, I hope that you understand so far. Okay, occupational disease according to ILO or International Labour Organizations has 4 main groups, which is occupational disease that caused by exposure to agents from work activities such as chemicals, occupational disease by target organ, or occupational cancer. Okay, alright. So jadi macam mana the chemicals agents can cause occupational disease? Chemicals agents account for 41 of the occupational disease that are caused by exposure to agent from work activities. Yeah. So jadi there are lots of chemicals that can cause occupational disease, and then factors that influence the toxicity ialah one of it physical states. The physical states tu maksudnya defined by the characteristic of the chemical, whether it is explosive, meruap apa, volatile, or it is corrosive. So that is the physical states of the chemicals that influence the occupational disease. I hope that I'm not too fast. If I'm too fast, please stop me. And then it's also depend on dose or concentration. So how many, how concentrated it is that exposed to you. And also the diameter or size. For example, in your industrial nanti, for example, if you're working in the manufacturing process, the chemicals can be choose variety in the variety forms. Ada yang liquid, there is a liquid chemicals, there is in the form of pellet, there is in the form of dust ataupun particle, small particles. There is apa tu, in the forms of gas. Yeah. So if you are being asking to select between liquid, pellets, and also serbuk ataupun powder, so which one that you choose the less risk? Which of these 3 are the less risk from your point of view? Mana satu yang kurang risiko? If you have liquid, pellet, and also powder. So anyone?
Liquid tu.
Liquid, okay. Siapa cakap tu? Siapa cakap tadi tu? Syafiq
Amar.
Oh, Amar, okay. Okay, you choose liquid. Anyone? Anyone else?
Pellet.
Pellet. Siapa cakap pellet tu? Siapa cakap tu tadi? Siapa yang cakap pellet tadi tu? Daniel. Okay. Alright. Kenapa Amal choose liquid? Why you choose liquid, Amal? Amal? Are you still there?
Yes, Ustazah.
Why you choose liquid?
Sebab mudah nampak, Doktor.
Mudah nampak. Okay. Alright. Kalau Daniel, why you choose pellet?
Easy maintenance. Sebab
Okay.
dia senang nak tumpah.
Okay. Alright. Okay, both are correct. Yeah? So it depends on the process. You can choose the less risk depends on process. Some of the process liquids are better, some of it pellets are better. For example, if the process is a mixing process where you have to pour, bila you terpaksa tuang kan, and then the process ataupun liquid compared to powder, because once you use powder, it will disperse and then it will inhaled by the workers. So jadi we want to reduce the risk. So jadi we have to choose the less diameter ataupun the biggest diameter ataupun the biggest size of the chemical, depends on the process. And then we have depends on also routes of absorption. Routes of absorption ni maksudnya how it connect to you or how it exposed to you. It's either from inhalations, ingestions, and then absorptions on your skin and things like that. And then the durations of exposure, how long that you expose. Some of the process may take like maybe 5 hours. Some of the process may take like maybe 1 hour or so. So it depends on the durations of the exposure. And then the presence of other chemicals also will influence the exposure. Maksudnya when you have 2 or 3 chemicals works together, so the reactions will happen. Once the chemical reactions happen, then it will create more hazard ataupun more hazardous to the workers. Okay. And then other than that is a personal factors such as age, gender. For example, if you are an elderly, if you have workers that age, for example, 45 or maybe 50 years and above, so they are in the category of elderly, so they will get more easily to get a disease compared to the youngsters. And if you have pregnant ladies, they will also prone to get disease ataupun high exposure compared to other people. So that is what are the personal factors that influence how the chemicals can create occupational disease. Okay, and then the hazard classifications of the chemicals ni can be varies lah pelbagai. Ada yang is under toxicity, skin corrosions, carcinogenicity dan sebagainya. The routes of exposure, this is one of the examples, how it affects your lung. The chemicals exposure can be from your food, from your products, from the soil, from the air, and then it either contact with you from ingestions, inhalations, and also the skin contact. So this is how the routes of exposure of the chemicals to us. Okay, all right. And then what I want to highlight here ialah we can get the exposure from our lungs, is from inhalations, and also from the dermals. When you are dealing with chemicals in the workplace, most of the process too, you're done with your hands. So that is how the chemicals get contact with your skin. Okay, so these are a few examples. And then ingestions. Ingestions ni means you ingest ataupun you makan, you swallow it down secara, most of it ialah secara tak sengaja, accidentally. Or perhaps, for example, if your house is berdekatan or nearby to the ladang, for example, for oil palm plantation, for example, when they spray the pesticide, pesticides dispersed to your house, to your kitchen, and then when you prepare your food, and then that is how it get contacts to you through ingestions. So that is accidentally swallowed by you. Okay, so the health effects can be either it's toxic dalam bentuk secara acute ataupun chronic. Acute ni means short durations of exposure, it creates such symptom. For example, when you expose the chemicals, you start to start to sneezing, you start to collapse, you start to feel nausea. So that is the acute ataupun the immediate actions, immediate response. Chronic means for a long time of exposure. From the long time to it will create a disease, like for example cancer or any other certain disease that takes a lot of the times of exposure to. So jadi these are the two health effects that can be exposed to us, which is from acute and also chronic. Okay. And then the health effects can be reversible and non-reversible. Reversible means it happens often temporarily, and you lari from or run away from the exposure, you will feel you getting better, ataupun you will not feel dizzy anymore. That is kita panggil dia reversibles. And non-reversibles mean that permanent health changes that cannot be repaired. For example, we have cancer, silicosis, asbestosis. Silicosis ni from the pendedahan or exposure to silica ataupun dust silica. It's maybe from the process of quarrying. Tahu quarry? So there is a dust of silica dalam tanah, particles of the soils, or perhaps you are working in manufacturing of glass, for example. So the silica from the process, you may get silicosis. Asbestosis adalah exposure to asbestos. Long time ago, our shillings is using the asbestos. But nowadays, it has changes to gypsums or any other products, materials. So the asbestos can affect your lung. So these are the things, examples of the occupational health disease that related to the chemicals reactions. And then other than that, we have irritants that can cause inflammable to your skin, corrosive. It can cause. Do you have any experience being at the lab? Chemicals lab. Ada tak sesiapa? Do you have any experience before being at the lab? Or you don't have lab at all? Tak pernah ada lab so far?
Ajar dulu.
Oh, okay, alright. Okay, so at least kalau ada yang pernah deal with chemicals, for example, contohnya acidic. For example, I have my experience. I've been working with acids during my lab work, and then I forgot to wear glove. And then what happened was the acid goes to my skin. It creates corrosive. Corrosive means that suddenly it's like a burning to your skin. And then your skin change, jadi dia macam darker skin, and then effects to the skin lah, the skin rosak dan sebagainya. So that is the corrosive reactions from the chemical, especially the acid. Okay, so that is one of the example. And then sensitizer that can create allergic response. Contohnya you are sneezing, for example, sneezing tu bersin, ataupun you feel batuk, coughing. So that is kind of sensitizer. And then kita ada juga genotoxicity and juga carcinogenicity ataupun carcinogen. So genotoxicity means that chemicals can affect the gene ataupun the DNA of ourselves. So it can alter the genetic materials. For example, it happens on fish. If you have read the articles that we have plastic pollutions, they throw plastics in the river ataupun on the oceans, and then the plastic have chemicals, and then once the chemicals get reacted with the water, and then it change the DNA of the fish. If the fish are males, then it turn it to be females. So it happens. It has been proven that the plastic chemical can alter the genetics of the fish study. So if it can happen to aquatic life, it also can happen to human being. And then it also can cause carcinogen. Carcinogen is cancerous lah, ataupun can cause cancer. Okay. Alright, so these are a few that I can share with you. Another is mutagens. Pernah tengok Ninja Turtle tak?
Nah, doktor.
Kalau you all okay.
Favorite.
Oh, that is my cartoon when I was very long time ago. Kita ada Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. So this is the story of how the turtles too has been mutagens by the chemical reactions, and it jadilah the Ninja Turtles. So if you have times, you can just tengok ataupun Google this video cartoons in the YouTube. It's very nice. Mutagenics. Okay. All right. I think that's a little bit of what I'm going to share with you. I want you to discuss with your group's members, about the video. Sekejap lagi saya cakap apa benda yang you have to discuss. Are you ready to see the video?
Yes, doktor.
Ready, Doktor? Yes, Doktor.
Yes. Cepatlah, dia kata. Okay, right. I show you the video, Satna. Okay, jap. Mana video saya ni? Video ni I have uploaded in the Putra Blast as well. Video Mr. Bean. Kalau you have times to see it, then nanti later you can watch it again. Okay, right. So ready? Nampak Okay, alright. Okay, dah dapat tengok dah tadi video Mr. Bean tadi. Sekejap Alamak, lupa nak tutup. Okay, alright. So, in a group nanti, I will give you groups in the breakout room. So, what you have to discuss among your friends ialah one thing, there are three things. Please catat, please take notes. The first thing ialah I want you to discuss what is wrong with the video. What you can learn from what you have saw just now. Okay, from the process study. Okay, the first one, what you can learn, what is wrong. The second thing ialah predict what could possibly the health effects from the exposure just now or from what had happening just now. Okay, and then the third thing is how to control or prevent this from happen. You can explore it, you can just put your ideas there, you can put your own scenarios and things like that, tak ada masalah. Okay, so there is three things that I want you to discuss. The first is what went wrong in the video, what you can learn from it. And then the second one is what kind of exposure ataupun health effects that possibly happen from the chemical reaction just now. And then the third one is how to prevent this from happen again. Ataupun what kind of things that you can do to stop it from happening again. Okay, ready? So I'm going to share with, to break you into several groups. Secara rambang secara rawak. Okay, ready guys? Sekejap you have 53, so can I have like maybe 10 breakout room? So dalam satu room ada 5 to 6 participants.